Hey everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Web3 Coffee's Road to a Billion series. This week, I want to explore an app that has been doing phenomenally well in recent times, partially because of a few political reasons, but regardless, a lot of people swear by the app, and it is none other than BlueSky. BlueSky was started under Twitter with Jack Dorsey creating it. But since 2021, it has been an independent entity and is led by a gentleman called Jay Graber. So without further ado, let's get into the app walkthrough. Let's load up the BlueSky website. So this is going to be slightly different from the traditional dApp. I don't think we need to use a crypto wallet to sign up, but just looking at the home screen, you can see some pretty clear parallels to kind of like a Twitter feed. And major point is that they're currently gaining 1 million users every single day. And I think that's mainly a result of or unrelated to the recent US political situation. Pretty interesting. You can see, same as on Twitter, repost quotes and likes, but here you can still see who is liking each post. That's a feature that Twitter removed under Elon Musk's ownership recently. I'm really not sure which is a better call or not, whether you would want to see people's likes, as in who is liking a certain post. But clearly, there's definitely an existing community here. This post has gotten some really strong traction, and it looks like you can see who all has reposted, quoted, or tweeted it by name. And here is what makes BlueSky really unique and interesting and uses some very innovative blockchain tech, right? So traditionally, the social media network you're on owns the feed algorithm. They decide what to feed your feed. Versus what BlueSky is trying to do, where essentially you can kind of join into other existing feeds created by anyone. Anyone is welcome to create their own feed and use whatever algorithms they want to populate that feed with posts. So that's what's it, and that's what I think they refer to when BlueSky talks about a federated architecture. So we'll get more into that, but let me register. So you can either register using the BlueSky domain or your own. We'll look into exactly how to go about your own one, but for now, I'll probably just go ahead with a BlueSky name just to make it easy. And I think the majority of people using this are using BlueSky. All right, and there we go. We have our own account. I'm gonna just use an avatar, use maybe an alien emoji. Yeah, that looks good. It's always an important question deciding how many of these categories to pick at first. I'm going for quite a few in this first round. At the end of the day, you want to see more content, not less, at this stage at least. All right, and there we have it. So now we're in, and I see on the right it says getting started, teach our algorithm what you like 10 posts, and follow 7 accounts. So we'll probably try and do that as we get into this. But again, here's the main interesting part, right? All the various feeds you have available to you. And I guess the Discover feed is BlueSky's original feed. This is where they've fed it the algorithms of their choosing. It actually offers a lot of flexibility to the user. You can even join a feed that says post from users who are following you back versus, all users you follow. If you want to give back to people that are supporting you, you can just go through that and likes a bunch of posts. And then there's this whole concept of clusters and super clusters, which I think might take a deeper dive video to go into. But the bottom line is that through this innovative decentralized feed architecture, you allow anyone to create the feeds that you'll end up using to inform your posts on the app, right? What posts you're getting. Posts from people you follow without reposts and replies. That's kind of amazing functionality you definitely cannot see on Twitter. So that's quite interesting. So now I'm just highlighting a few of these. We can go through and see what's on them. I think what we'll see later is that a lot of these feeds, or feed choices will be vying to be in this top 10, top 20 section, because this is obviously where you'll get the most discoverability of your feed, which is, I guess, the goal for some. Okay, well, it's good I can see videos directly on the app without going out. So that's helpful. Interesting. So as long as I use the test tube emoji on my post, it automatically goes to this feed. So I wonder who's moderating it. Can anyone delete a test tube emoji related post? And then of course you have the Guardian here, who recently decided to stop posting on Twitter. I'm not going to get into whether or not I think that's a good decision or not. It's quite a contentious issue though. It's great to see science migrating over here, posting the results on BlueSky and promoting the BlueSky post, but not the results on X. So there's already some competition going on, right, between those that believe in BlueSky's approach versus X's approach. But I mean, it's really not a question, right? It's just all the earlier social media platforms have a large existing user base. That means they obviously have more content and we want to be there seeing that content. But the reality is this decentralized federated architecture is probably, in the long term, much more useful. That flexibility will be, will only get better as more list feed algorithms get experimented on and discovered, and you kind of, with that choice, decide what you like to see. So anyway, let me get started on liking some of these posts. All right, game development. It's always been a passion area of mine. I have to say that the numbers aren't looking great. I mean, 5,000 users only have liked the entire game development feed. But anyway, it's early days, right? Although they have been developing for a few years, it's early days since they started picking up significant user growth numbers. So it's interesting. It's kind of becoming like a mix between Reddit and Twitter. Because on Twitter, you wouldn't see this much grassroots posting of, small niche projects. But you would see kind of the large scale game developers give their views. Here on BlueSky, you're seeing both the big names giving their views, as well as kind of the smaller names sharing some of their work. And the smaller names sharing some of their work is what you'd see a lot more on Reddit. So as soon as I liked I liked the game dev section, I think I also got a notification. So someone must be following people that follow or that like a feed, maybe. So anyway, this is the film page. I was gonna say that I haven't seen, too many off-topic posts in the game dev section or science section, but right now we just saw a politics post in the film section. So I guess that becomes more common in certain areas. Just seeing if I can save a post or like bookmark it like you can on Twitter, but you can't over here, which is unfortunate. I think that's something they should definitely get to doing sooner rather than later. Alright, this is the BlueSky feed. Pretty amazing they've been able to maintain this 1 million a day. We can read more about how to set up your domain. But honestly, I haven't seen anyone who uses their own domain so far. I don't know why not though. It seems quite cool. Wow, they hit the #1 app. I wonder what country that's in. Okay, so you can create a feed that auto takes posts that have a certain hashtag in it as well. And yeah, here it is. Disability feed wanting to be in the top 50 discover list. I think that's probably pretty important for long-term growth of the feed. I wonder if there's any earning potential for someone who creates a feed that a lot of people like and use. I doubt there is right now, but that's really the next step. That's part of what the financialization of the internet should be about, I think. Gosh, what is this? The World Bollard Association. And what is World Bollard Association? Okay, a bollard is a sturdy, short, vertical post. Should some things with the internet just go above your head? And I think this is one of them. I have no clue what that is. Okay, this is pretty cool. Before and after Taiwan. Looks like there's definitely a few other languages used on this. As we saw earlier with the feeds, there's a couple different super clusters based on language. Okay, this guy followed me. Let me follow him back. NFT collector and generative artist. My man, dude. My man. Definitely gonna follow him back. All right, let's check out what the details are here. So AT protocol, by the way, is what BlueSky is built on, the same way that Warpcast is built on Farcaster. So BlueSky, Warpcast, these are kind of the consumer-facing applications built on protocol layers like AT protocol or like Farcaster. Yeah, it says it right here. It's the AT protocol that lets you use domains as handles. BlueSky is a client application built on top of the protocol, so we'll also use domains as handles. Okay, I think I need to look at exactly what the differences are like between these two protocols, because I recently got on Warpcast and I know there's some really cool features they're doing, like frames and stuff. Okay, so I guess the main difference is this FID in Farcaster versus DID in Blue. But what this essentially means is that, so it looks like there's a lot of stuff, but one of the main things I think is on Warpcaster, right, or Warpcast, I have to pay a fee every month to use it because there's some implications of using the Farcaster protocol in terms of how much it costs to maintain data, versus in this particular AT Proto architecture, it's a federation model, I believe, which allows you to, well, I mean, basically means I don't need to pay that much to store my user data permanently. Yeah, I think it says it really well here. FC's current architecture is constrained by scalability issues and lacks an in-protocol method to store user data permanently, versus ATP's identity system is less developed due in part to its tendency to avoid blockchain technology, especially Ethereum. So I guess those are the two major limitations of each particular. It's tough to say what'll win out here, right? I mean, I was just at DevCon last week, and I think the main theme was that the end user won't know or give a shit what protocol they're interacting with or which blockchain they're interacting with. The consumer facing application will obscure, abstract that away. So essentially, these blockchains or protocols will be used for different parts of a consumer application's use case based on what their strengths are in that, trilemma of things, right? Scalability, security, and decentralization, which I think is interesting. I mean, it's certainly going to be a much better user experience than what we see right now. I'm definitely looking forward to changing my BlueSky name to my own domain. Let's check out what jobs they have. 2 jobs at BlueSky only. 1 outside of an engineering role. Interesting, this confirmation code. So now these are public shareable lists which can drive feeds. I'm not fully sure what we can do here, so... So basically this is just designed to give you more flexibility on how you can follow people on BlueSky, right? So your list will essentially be a list of certain accounts or posts, and once you feed this to it, it essentially will let you view content from just the accounts you fed on the list. And then you can also view other people's BlueSky lists if they've made it public. And I think there's going to be a lot of future use cases that can be built on top of this type of list functionality. And that's another thing, right? I think right now we are at such an early stage of where we're going to see BlueSky go in the future. The beauty of building on top of open source protocols like this, giving decentralized flexibility to users to create the experience they want and the tools they need to do that, is definitely going to be the best user experience. And we're just scratching the surface, really, of what all can be possible with this type of architecture. So I'm pretty excited about what BlueSky has been able to do. I think it's very impressive. They've gotten to 18 million users as a Web3 app. I also don't think they do much marketing. Honestly, the product itself will do all the marketing they need because it's such a monumental improvement over what we have already available. I also just noticed that I haven't even turned on the enable adult content. This would have been a very different video if I did. But yeah, excited to keep diving deeper, not just into BlueSky, but into what decentralized social really means, what the new age social protocols can really deliver for the end user in a very different way than what we've become accustomed to in these walled gardens of Facebook, Instagram that we live in. So thank you very much for your time, and look forward to seeing you all on next week's episode of Road to a Billion series. Thanks a lot. Test.